Welcome back, everyone. Wanted to do a quick video about President Trump nominating the next director of the ATF. Before getting into all that, I'm going to be sharing this video on both YouTube, my X page, as well as Truth Social. If you guys are particularly on X and Truth Social, reshare this video as well as comment down below. The reason for that is President Trump and his team, they read social media comments. I know that for sure from people who are on his team who have told me that. So comment down below, share the video, get the attention to the team so that way they know what we are thinking. So what are we thinking? Well, in the last 48 hours, you guys have probably seen some movement on social media about this topic. And the reason for that is several members of the president's team have reached out to many people that I know, many people that you guys would be familiar with, both on social media as well as gun rights organizations, about who should be appointed for the next ATF director. Basically, long story short, to make the video consumable, the team is debating between the traditional type of pick, so somebody who is a career law enforcement officer, somebody who's been a federal officer before, those sorts of things, i.e. like a cop, which traditionally has been the type of person who's been appointed the ATF director. Like if you look over the history of the ATF and the directors, they're essentially either all former agents or former prosecutors. And then the other side, and the other side of his team rather, is looking for someone who is an industry professional, someone who really understands the firearms industry and all the hurdles that they have to go through and all the problems that the ATF and their rules cause on the firearms industry. So some names that you guys have probably seen being thrown around, of course, in that role would be somebody like Blake Masters, Brandon Herrera, i.e. the AK guy, and then of course a lot of different former law enforcement officials have been talked about as well. My preference, and I think probably the overwhelming majority of people watching this video's preference, would be to have somebody who is an industry professional who understands all of the problems that are going on with the ATF and their overregulation of a lot of different things that shouldn't even be covered by the ATF within the firearms industry. And I think the way to get that problem solved is to have somebody who understands it from a manufacturing, from a firearm sales, etc. background. And of course, I'm sure many of you out there are pulling for Brandon Herrera, and I have talked to Brandon. Brandon is dead serious that if he is asked to step into that role, he would gladly do so. But I'm sure there are many other people who also understand the firearms industry that President Trump may be looking at. And I definitely think that is the way it should go, rather than a law enforcement officer. Law enforcement officers, traditionally, right, it's kind of like the hammer and the nail. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That tends to be the way that law enforcement officers view agencies like the ATF, which has become over-militarized. As many of you guys know, the ATF was not started out to be a law enforcement organization. It was supposed to be a tax collection organization, and it has morphed into what it is today, where they are literally kicking in people's doors for frames and receivers that they deem firearms, even though they statutorily are not. So that is a rabbit hole to go down that I don't want to in this video. It's for another video. We've already made those videos actually. But yeah, so big call to action for this video is to share the video, let them know we want somebody who understands the intricacies of the industry to lead the ATF, because traditionally that simply hasn't happened. And with prior law enforcement or prior prosecutors leading the ATF, we've kind of seen how that goes. And it's not what America voted for back in November. That is for sure. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. If you guys haven't subscribed, liked the video, all those sorts of things, share like we talked about. It really does matter, particularly in this case. Please go ahead and do so. And that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.